So for last week's practicum on Tuesday, I worked with an EL student from Sudan again on doing the planning stage of a diorama that the rest of the class is going to make about an ecosystem. So the rest of the students in the class are going to make a diorama over one of the five ecosystems that they've talked about in class. They've went over. So for example, like a wetland or a coral reef or rainforest. But the ELL student who's from Sudan, my teacher asked me to work with him to make a diorama of the ecosystem and food chain in his home country. So Tuesday I worked with him on that, and we searched pictures and just kind of went through the process of trying to figure out what the food chain would be and how the information he already knows about Sudan corresponds to what he's learning about in the textbook and in class, even though he has limited English proficiency. So just working on his vocabulary and also his just his knowledge of what an ecosystem is. And then on Thursday, when I arrived to the classroom, the whole class was watching short videos about the ecosystems they've been learning about. So they've already all selected which ecosystem they want to make their project about. But my teacher wanted to show them short clips, maybe like 3 to 4 minute clips of what each ecosystem is. And I found that while they were watching these videos, a lot of them wanted to change what ecosystem they picked because it seemed more interesting after they saw videos, or because they liked those animals in the ecosystem better. So I think maybe that kind of didn't go as my teacher had planned. She thought the videos would solidify their choices, but I think it kind of caused some confusion and mix up. But it was really interesting to see all the videos and see how, even for the ecosystems that didn't seem as interesting, all the students seemed intrigued and curious about the animals and how each ecosystem works, especially the rainforest one. They loved that one. Almost all the students wanted to switch to the rainforest, but my teacher had to divide it up. And then after they watched the videos on Thursday, they did what my teacher calls a rapid round robin. So in the groups, in each table group of 4, the students reread the reading from the night before from the textbook. It was about 4 pages. So they reread it and just skimmed it to refresh their memory. And then they each, since there's 4 in each group, each student shares a fact or something interesting or something they want to know more about, just to get them talking. So each person shares, and then for the first 3 rounds, they're allowed to use their book to reference and to look back at in case they're confused about something or they want to look up something. And after those 3 rounds, they can't use their book anymore. And my teacher kind of makes it a competition to see which group can go the most rounds without their book. And one thing I found interesting about this strategy is that it seemed really cool at first, and the students were really engaged, especially in the first 2 or 3 rounds. But I think after the rounds where they're not allowed to use their book anymore, the students are kind of just repeating what's already been said. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but when all the students start saying the same sentence over and over, and then I was walking around the room while they were talking, and my teacher had to go to the office really quick, so I was walking around the room listening to what they were saying. And one thing I noticed was that the students didn't seem very engaged or on topic after those rounds where they could only use their book, or they could not use their book. So I think if I were to use this strategy in my classroom, I would probably limit those extra rounds. Even though it's kind of a competition, trying to make it more fun, I don't think it's as beneficial as it was in the classroom today. So, and another thing I thought was interesting about my practicum experience this week was on Tuesday when I was working with my ELL student to make his diorama of Sudan. One thing I kind of got nervous or maybe even confused about was that my teacher never provides any links or resources for him to use or go to look up the information she wants him to look up when I'm there. And I know she probably doesn't have the she might do it when I'm not there. I understand that. I don't get to see every part of the classroom, but and I know she's very busy. But at the same time, I feel like it's safer and easier for him if she provided links that he could find his information from. Because I noticed when he was looking at pictures of lions and zebras and stuff like that, he would find a lot of cartoon drawings of them. Like, for example, when he was looking at lions, she wanted him to find realistic pictures so that he could draw, or that way he could print out to include in his diorama. And he was finding pictures from the Lion King, and he thought they were real lions. And I don't know, I think it'd be easier for everyone involved if she could provide him with maybe like 3 or 4 links to say, then have them bookmarked on his computer and say you can visit these websites to help you find pictures, to help you find information about these ecosystems or about the animals inside of them. So that's just something that was a challenge for me because he was getting off topic he would just go to Google and type in lion. He would find a picture of like an animal from the Lion King, and then once he clicked on that picture, it would show related pictures, and he was going off on completely unrelated topics and ideas, and I just think it would be easier. So I think in the future I might come with my own sites or even ask my teacher, do you have any sites you recommend, and just see where it goes from there. But overall, I thought this week was definitely a learning experience for me, and based on what we've learned in class, I think I can apply a lot of what we learned about inquiry and kind of setting structure within that inquiry to help guide students. So